as far as you're concerned, this thing in the press about you, an anorexia. Now, are you anorexic?
No, I'm not.
How do you know that?
I know that because I eat. Anorexics don't eat.
You eat regularly?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a perfectly healthy diet. And what upset me mostly when all of that was actually in the press is that, I know I'm fine. My family know that I'm fine, but there are lots of young children out there who look up to the Spice Girls, and think, goodness, are you meant to be thin? I mean, I look the way that I look now. I used to be a lot bigger, and I lost a lot of weight after having Brooklyn, but this is just the way that I look now. And I mean, it did worry me.
I mean, did you go to a doctor? Do you think you might be anorexic?
No, I did go to the doctors because it worried me, because I started to get paranoid. So I went to the doctors and I said, look, is there anything wrong with me? I wanted to be totally checked out because I was eating perfectly fine, exactly, as I always have done. And I was losing weight. And they just said that's just something that happens, when you have children. My mum lost 3.5 stone after she had my brother, so it's hereditary.
Do you feel now you want to put some weight on?
I think that I could probably do with putting on weight, but I just eat what I eat, and this is the way I am.
Never get closer to actually give you a diet sheet.
What do you eat?
What do I? I have breakfast, and I have a lunch, and then I have dinner, and I snack in between.
Oh, that sounds all right.
Pretty normal.
How many lettuce leaves?
No lettuce leaves.
But do you feel that when you go out now, say to a restaurant, that you're being looked at, you're being inspected in a sense for what you eat?
Yeah, I mean, that is quite embarrassing. I was out at dinner the other night and I'm sitting there and I ordered a bowl of pasta or something like that, and the man said, would you like a large bowl or a small bowl? You just feel such an idiot. I've just got used to it now. I don't care what anybody says.
I suppose every time you go to the loo as well, they think you're going to chuck up or whatever.
Yeah. Well, this is another thing. We were out at dinner the other day, and I was absolutely busting for the toilet. And it's quite sad to think that you can't even go to the toilet, because if you do, people are going to think you're throwing up.
Well, what about the public reaction to you? Because there's the lovely story in research about you going into Boots to buy a car seat for the baby. Yeah.
What happened is I needed to get a new car seat for Brooklyn. And he had to weigh like 21 pounds or something before he could sit in this car seat. So I went into Boots and I had no idea how much he weighed. And there were no baby scales around, so I stood on these scales to kind of see how much I weighed. Then I'd get off and then get back on with Brooklyn, so I knew if he was heavy enough for this car seat. And as I'm standing on the scales, there's all these people walking past saying, oh, I hope you're putting on a bit of weight there. I hope you're eating. How much do you weigh? And you get a little receipt thing as well when you get off. And at first I didn't realise, and I walked away. My mum said, you better get that, or that will be in the
newspaper.
Oh, it would have been, yeah.
Just imagine.
It's a very good way of weighing things. I do that with my Christmas hams.
Not in Boots the chemist.
On the pier. We speak your weight.
But what about? I mean, it is extraordinary. I mean, all of us here, are known by the public, but you've got this extraordinary kind of fame, which has people camped outside your house and going through your dustbins. In your case, 2 dustbins.
Yeah.
I mean, how inhibiting is it? How worrying is it for you? I mean, what do you feel about it?
I think that it's a lot more worrying when, obviously because I've got a baby. Because there's been a lot of stuff in the press about, people wanting to kidnap Brooklyn as well.
Was that serious? I mean...
Yeah, that was serious.
It was.
I did have threats.
You
and
did.
I mean, the police were fantastic, and, Brooklyn has a bodyguard with him now. But it is something that's really worrying. That's every parent's worst nightmare, something happening to their child. So that's scary. But that was what really freaked me out, I think, about the whole weight issue. It wasn't actually the weight issue in the end. It was just the fact that in the past, if I'd been in the press, I'd been with the Spice Girls or I'd been with David. And for the first time, it was just me. I was completely singled out. And I think it was the whole attention, just the fact that people were that interested in me, that kind of freaked me out more than anything, really.
I mean, it gives some idea of a distorted sense of news values. The fact that you had a baby took the war and the conflict in the Balkans off the front page, and it was the lead news on the TV. So, I mean, there's a strange sort of perverted logic at work here, isn't there? I mean, it's quite dangerous too, because there are obsessive people out there. Yeah.
It's it is really worrying, and it is really strange, and I'm one of these people that, I go home at night and I put on my pyjamas and I sit in front of the telly with my mum and dad, and David, and I never think, oh, you know. So you don't actually realise quite how interested people
Victoria,
are.
you say that, and yet you see there'll be a lot of people out there watching who would say, well, that's not really true, because, you know, we see them in the newspapers, we see them out glamorous, all poshed up. We see this couple who invited this magazine in to their wedding and, you know, took £1 million for it or wherever it might be. So in a sense, they would say they're inviting that kind of scrutiny.
Yeah. You know, whenever, so I go out, if we go out for dinner or if we go to a club, you know, you have to continue with your life. Yes, there's going to be photographers, but you can't hide away completely. We don't ask to be in the newspapers. You know, I get photographed if I go to Tesco's or Marks and Spencer's or anywhere like that. It's not just going places where you know you're going to get photographed. You know, and talking about the magazine getting paid for,
yes, I'm going to say,
my wedding.
People say you did ask for them to go to your wedding, so therefore you booked the publicity, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you know, exactly. That was my next
£1 million.
question. If we asked everybody out there, if you got offered a lot of money for pictures that were going to be in the press anyway, if they weren't in OK Magazine, they'd have been in all the newspapers, they'd have been in another magazine, then who out there wouldn't have accepted the money and said, thank you, nice pictures that I can control? You know, I think everybody out there would do it. I'd have been daft. Come on.
Totally daft, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It'd be worth getting married for it. Somebody offered me.